And welcome to Studio 5. Major, Channing Tatum, and Kurt Warner are all on today's rundown. Major is talking the Major Hope Experience. Channing Tatum is working behind the scenes and in front of the camera in a new buddy comedy. And if you're already hungry for more football following the Super Bowl, Kurt Warner and the creators of American Underdog are sharing a unique perspective on the film. To get to all of that, we want to jumpstart this week's countdown of the top 5 uplifting entertainment stories. Here are the first 2. At number 5.
Saturday Night Live tabled its usual cold open this weekend, instead featuring the Ukrainian chorus Dumka of New York, performing Prayer for Ukraine as Russian troops continue their invasion of the Eastern European nation.
At number 4.
Starting in September, I am debuting my own talk show, Sherry!
Congratulations to Sherry Shepherd, who shared the nearly 20-year faith walk behind this year's news of her own talk show.
And about 4 years ago, I started telling God, I said, Lord, I want a talk show. I want my own talk show. And you know how God works. Turn to your neighbor on your right and say, won't he do it? Turn to the neighbor on your left and say, won't he will? There we go. Anybody who knows me knows that I am a woman of faith. And I want to say, 2004 to 2022, the answer, when you're feeling like you have been forgotten, when you're feeling like people say no, it may not be no. God may be saying, it's not time. And when God says, do you trust me? He don't need a lot of faith, just a little bit. And when God says it's so, it will be. So thank you.
Our countdown will continue a little bit later in the show. I want to turn now to actor and recording artist Major. That's all caps, M-A-J-O-R, period. He's traveling the country sharing the Major Hope Experience. He's nicknamed the Hope Dealer for a number of reasons, and his life has been special from the start. As he shared in our conversation, his mother considered abortion in the unplanned pregnancy, but got a flat tire on her way to the clinic on 2 occasions. In the end, she gave him the name Major and trusted God to use him in a major way.
Contrary to popular belief, hope isn't pretending your current struggle ain't real. It's actually a brave champion mindset and posture to take in the midst of it all.
So I know we can't see it because it's covered up by your jacket right now, but you have labeled yourself the Hope Dealer.
Listen, it's hope right there.
Hope is not the denial of reality. It's a commitment to believe greater is on the other side of it.
You are touring the Hope Experience?
The Major Hope Experience.
Keep hope alive and beautiful people.
And it's spoken as Major Hope because I want people to understand that this concept is not just some fluffy cliche. It's to be understood that Major Hope would be synonymous with the unapologetic embrace of it.
Hope. It's a powerful thing.
What prompted it? What sparked it in your heart that this is something you had to do? I know it's a passion project.
I've been about this work all of my life. My mom tells me why she named me Major, and that came with the story of perseverance for herself because she was, pregnant with a kid out of wedlock and considered abortion, but divine intervention, stepped in and on her way twice to the abortion clinic, she had severe car trouble. So she was like, God, I hear you. I'm gonna move forward with having this child. And if I name him Major, I pray that he makes a major impact on the world.
That heaviness is evidence that love was something pretty special.
It woke me up to the call. And that's literally to lean in with this commitment to give people hope. to inspire them in every situation.
What if I told you hope was the key? Would you believe me?
There's a line that you have that hope is not just the key, it's the major key.
It's the major key. It's the major key.
Because hope is not only the key, it's the major key.
Were you at a point hopeless?
Oh, yeah. Before people knew of me for, this is why I love you. You know, yeah, I was told so many no's, still experience no's and so many opinions. Hope is what got me through that.
And I've learned to love me too.
I know what my heart was saying. I know what the voice of God was saying to me. But if you simply lean into what I gave you, I will make the way. I'll prepare the way.
God spoke to you and said that if you sing about me,
The rest of the world
will
will sing
join.
along. Oh, you've been doing some research. All right, brother. All right, brother.
This is why I love you. Ooh, this is why I love you.
I was writing the love song, and I was trying to figure out ways to be clever, you know, and Harmony was like, I said, Harmony, words are coming, but they don't feel real. And I said, I know heartbreak. I don't know a consistent love that has shown me what I'm wanting to sing about. And he says, you've never experienced this? I said, God? He says, so write to God. And I said, that's it. And as I prayed, I remember hearing, write about me, and the rest of the world will sing along.
Love will do.
You talk of facing rejection. Too funny rejection. They're not funny now. They're funny looking back, considering where you were, but I know they're not funny.
It's exhausting.
Funny going through. But both American Idol and The Voice.
Yeah. Oh, you really have done research. Absolutely. Unbelievable. Because they said I was great, but no thanks. Simon said I was too polished for the show. I'm like, this is strange. This is weird. This is discouraging. Because you just kind of build your hope on the things that you think are what it is. And that's when I realized that my hope has to be anchored in something that's more constant than the things that I'm aiming towards. And that's why my hope is in my faith center, God.
I love you, 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 I do.
If you know in your knowing that this is what you've been made for, lean into it in excellence. Stay consistent, and the door will open.
I found love in you, and no other love will do.
We will have more with Major coming up at the end of today's show. His spoken word project, Major Hope Motivations, is available right now wherever you get your music. And if you haven't already done so, do yourself a favor and snag everything he's recorded. You won't regret it. Still ahead.
They're both stuck in the car, and that's where a lot of the buddy comedy comes from.
Hey! No! We're joined by the cast and creators of the buddy comedy, following the misadventures of two former Army Rangers.
You're just a demon. You're just a demon.
They're both wounded and compensating in some way, shape, or form.
At number 3.
And the actor goes to Will Smith.
It's award season.
Jennifer Hudson was named Entertainer of the Year at Saturday night's NAACP Image Awards, broadcast live on BET.
And the prizes are going home with the stars.
That may have been one of the greatest moments of my career just now.
The race to the Oscars now hotter than ever thanks to a somewhat surprising win in the race for Best Actress. The SAG Awards, often seen as a bellwether of what's to come at the Academy Awards. CODA, which stands for Child of Deaf Adult, faces formidable competition at the Oscars, which air right here on ABC Sunday, March 27th.
At number 2.
Then we got my man Kanye. Tracks, man, hold on.
Well, I first put the camera on this album becoming a producer back in '98.
Southtown made it down here, boy.
I knew he was destined for greatness.
It's a Studio 5 quick look at Genius, a Netflix docuseries on hip-hop's Kanye West, decades in the making. Its director says Kanye's story displays a testament to the power of God, despite missteps.
I'm interested in why you believe all of this has happened.
I just think it was in God's plan. I think he just has me here for a reason, that I have something to say. It's people that might be better programmers, better rappers. Where I think I really won is I had the heart.
We'll return to the countdown in just a little bit, and that is when we'll reveal your #1 uplifting entertainment story for this week. Want to now turn to what's new in theaters this week, and one of them is Dog. It's a buddy comedy that follows the misadventures of two former Army Rangers paired against their will on the road trip of a lifetime. It stars Channing Tatum, and we have a special Studio 5 first look.
And action. The vision for the film started from a very personal place. This is a road movie about a military dog, Lulu, and her relationship with Jackson Briggs.
Briggs was a ranger, and when Lulu's handler, Riley, dies, Riley's parents have asked for Lulu to be at the funeral. Family funeral Sunday outside of Nogales. Maybe just take the crazy down one notch.
They're both stuck in the car, and that's where a lot of the bloody comedy comes from.
Hey! No, 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 no! Lulu's like an 8-year-old running around with a chainsaw. You're just a demon! You're just a demon! They're both struggling in ways that maybe they haven't before. And the only difference between them is that one's a canine and one's a human.
I mean, that's the foundational relationship of our movie.
Let's not make this all emotional, okay? There's something very present and healing about dogs. I love these animals so much, and the experience that I got to go have making it with my buddy Reed was a labor of actual love, and that's enough for me. We were directing this together, but a lot of it was me just being directed by my buddy.
Do one more of those, Chan, where you just explain it as your experiences.
I love him to death. We talked a lot about tone in the beginning. And one of the first things that we kind of looked at each other and said, we were like, we're not making a sad soldier movie. There is darkness there. The guys that we know are so funny and so alive.
Good. We wanted to make a movie that had a heart, but that made you laugh.
No, 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 no! No!
Didn't take itself too seriously, but could sneak up on you a bit in terms of its themes. And I think we achieved that.
Easy. What are y'all so scared of?
There are 3 dogs that play Lulu in the movie, Lana, Britta, and Zuza.
I've been around dogs my whole life, but these are different dogs.
Is that a Belgian Mal?
Yeah.
Lulu is a Belgian Malinois, and she's at the tip of the spear of the most elite combat units in the world.
Most people associate Belgian Malinois with the military, security services, Navy SEALs. They're very hardcore.
They're incredibly smart, and they love working. But sometimes they're not the best family dogs.
They come with the nickname the alligator because these dogs like to bite like an alligator.
Good girl.
You give hugs now? Really?
Lulu gives the best hugs. You've never had a Lulu hug?
No, we don't exactly hug.
Channing started working with the dogs about 9 months before we started shooting.
And we had to really be careful because I had to have enough of a bond with them so that I didn't get bit in the face.
We had 3 full-time retired Army Rangers. They're all dog handlers, and I'm insanely proud of the way in which we were able to work with members of the military.
We leaned into their knowledge, and thankfully, I never took a full bite. But Britta, like, nipped me. I still have a scar on my butt cheek.
You're a chew toy. This is fun. Yeah, good toy, dude.
Oftentimes in movies, you can feel the presence of an off-screen trainer, but we really wanted to do as much as possible in wide shots where the dog could interact with Chan, and so we needed Channing to be able to direct the dogs in scene, and Chan really became a trainer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, girl.
It was kind of tough. There's a scene where I run out to the car and I have to scream, like, you know, what do you want? And she was just like, why am I getting yelled at? And I was like, oh, it like broke my heart. So like after every one of those scenes, I would have to go over and be like, no, it's okay, you're my friend.
It was actually really lovely to show up every day and work with these incredible dogs.
Me and you are gonna go on a little road trip. Reed and I, we go on a lot of road trips together, and we love a road trip.
We'd always wanted to set a story in a lot of these places that we know and love. And there's bonding.
It's just the thing that happens on a road trip.
Maybe just take crazy down. Just one notch, that's it.
We didn't want to make a war movie. We wanted to make a road movie because that was a way to bring people into this world of Special Forces soldiers and their dogs.
Hey, no, come on!
To have a dog that likes to bite people, eat this guy all the way down the western seaboard, and he's sort of biting her back on some level, and it just was funny to me.
You're just a demon. You're just a demon.
By the end of the movie, they realized that they're kind of each other's tribe.
Just being with each other was, in a way, healing, and just the presence of her was sort of intrinsically opening both of them up.
I've never seen this dog exhibit any aggressive behavior before.
Never. She loves people.
Dog is in theaters this coming Friday. That is February 18th. Now is a great time to share our weekly story in pictures. Here's your Studio 5 snapshot for the week.
Disney Pixar's newest magical creation takes us to Canada, where 13-year-old Mai Lee is torn between being her mother's obedient daughter and the awkward chaos of her early teenage years. And then, when she gets too excited, she now turns into a big red panda. It's called Turning Red, and it's releasing March 11th. These bright, beautiful images from the animated tale are this week's Studio 5 Snapshot. Coming up next.
We did begin our careers both doing music videos and commercials, and then as documentary filmmakers. So as we went into feature films, we carried that process with us, and so we always sort of explore something as a documentary first.
A fresh take on Rams legend Kurt Warner's American Underdog story.
Welcome back to Studio 5. With this year's Super Bowl in the history books, we have a look at an uplifting film with a bit of LA Rams history. We have a fresh look at Kurt Warner's American Underdog story. Through some new eyes, in case you missed it, it's now available on digital platforms, and we have a special feature to share.
We did begin our careers both doing music videos and commercials, and then as documentary filmmakers. So as we went into feature films, we carried that process with us, and so we always sort of explore something as a documentary first, and it becomes a sort of proof of concept piece, and we do that on every film. So the first stop to making the movie and seeing, is this a movie that we could make, was to sit down with Kurt and Brenda and interview them, and that became a 10-minute mini doc.
We asked Kurt and Brenda that question of, what do you see your story as? And Kurt said, I don't see it being about my accomplishments on the football field. It's about my relationship with Brenda and our relationship with Zach. And it's about us fighting for our family. And at that point, John and I looked at each other and like, that's a movie.
It is a rags to riches story to some degree, but there's so much more involved in the story, and the relationships that were built, the relationship that sustained the entire journey are what's key to our story, and what I believe is truly going to impact people. And so we needed to find people that saw that in a similar fashion to the way we saw that. John and Andy did that, and thus the reason that we're at this point.
To me, this movie isn't a sports movie. It's about relationship. It's about real life. I've always said that I think people relate more to real life stuff than somebody holding a trophy up and being a champion. But that's the beautiful part about this, that he is a champion, but he was the same person before all this happened.
American Underdog is available on digital platforms right now, and it's coming to Blu-ray and DVD on February 22nd. With that, we have made it to the final story in this week's countdown of the 5 big headlines in uplifting entertainment. Take a look at what is finishing on top this week.
At number 1.
We were playing characters in a world where they were virtuous people.
Kelsey Grammer signs on to the Lionsgate film Jesus Revolution. The actor who played Fraser Crane on 2 hit comedy series.
Once you've been a patient of mine, I'm always there when you... Oh, great. I'll bet this is important.
Will play the role of Chuck Smith, the Calvary Chapel pastor who served as a mentor to Pastor Greg Laurie. Grammer told reporters, "Jesus had a profound influence in my life. I'm proud to be a part of this film."
The basic virtues of what you'd look for in a man, you know, in the traditional sense of a good man. You know, one that's honest, true, loyal, noble, keeps his word.
Just moments away.
All I can say is your father changed my life.
Actor.
And if you see, like I see.
And singer Major returns.
Let it flow. Let it flow.
With another dose of Major hope.
Welcome back to Studio 5. We've got a fresh soundtrack playing in this week's show, and it's from the amazing voice of Rudy Kearns. Take a listen, and you will certainly hear why I Belong Here is what's playing in my ear this week.
For somebody like you to love somebody like me, for somebody like you just to include me. You could have left me out, but you wouldn't have it that way. When I stepped out of the line, your love stepped in my place. I belong here.
I Belong Here. Again, the amazing voice of Rudy Kearns. On that musical note, we are just about out of time for today's edition of Studio 5. So before we say goodbye, we want to fast forward a moment and take a look at next week's rundown.
In the morning when I rise, in the morning when I rise.
Linda Randall's Pilgrim Journey.
It's next level for me. I don't know when I've sung so free and so uninhibited, and I don't care if people had me Southern gospel, black, whatever they had me. I just felt like I got to really be the person I was created to be.
I can't help but to ask, as I hear you say that, what do you think your mom and dad would be thinking about this project?
Woo! I just got swelled up with tears, but I don't want my lashes falling off. That's the truth.
Give me Jesus.
That story is coming your way next week. I trust and pray you will join us here in Studio 5 for it. We have time now for just one more thing. We want to give that to our special guest, Major. He has this week's final word.
I got a text, 2020. Got a text from a good brother that the world embraces and loves. And he said, I would like for a group of us to collectively pray for the hope of the world at 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard. Let's all pray. And this brother does not send out just text just to be sending out text. He's very intentional, always been. And he said, COVID-19 has not only impacted the molecular, but it has impacted our mental and our emotional, and it's stripped many of their hope. It's challenging many in that space. And he says, so let's pray for the restoration of hope, because hope is how we can overcome sickness, disease, despair, struggle. And I knew this language, but to hear it from somebody else articulated that way, he then ends it with this. He says, the plague was asked, why did it kill so many? The plague responded, I only killed 100. The thousands that died from the fear.
Major, thank you. That is a great final word for this edition of Studio 5, as well as this week's look at uplifting entertainment. Until next time, make time to uplift someone around you. And then please come on back and see where Studio 5 takes you next week. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye, everybody.